Hey man, taunt is cheat, and you better believe that it's cheating. Why would you ever want to play fair when you actually just cheat your opponent right out of the game? We like those wins on this channel. I want to talk to you today a little bit about aggro Taunt Druid. I believe that this deck is the best aggro deck of the current meta. It's super strong. It has great matchups across the board, very high expected win rate, and I always feel like having a good aggro deck in your toolkit, one of the tools that we can use to rank up on the ladder. Sure, you guys hopefully know by now, I'm a big fan of aggro decks. When you're trying to get that personal best rank on the ladder, being able to play more games in your play session is usually going to be a benefit. It's going to depend on kind of like your personal meta, what you're seeing, what you're up against, but you definitely want to be able to reach in your toolkit, be able to pull out a nice aggro deck. This is the best one. Taking a look at the deck, as you can see right here, very aggressive with the mana curve. We want to be able to get minions on the board because our only win condition for the deck is to be able to stick a board. This deck can only win from the board, so we need to get those minions on the board, make them stick around to our next turn, and then be able to buff them with Arbor up. Hopefully at that point, send everything face for lethal, or potentially be able to set up lethal for the following turn. The way this deck tries to go about that, we do have a couple of Divine Shield minions here, one Argent Squire, two Annoyatrons. Annoyatrons also work really well with the taunt package that we have included here. And then we also have Guardian Aug Merchants, which will allow us to give Divine Shield to another minion. Divine Shield again, just making that minion a little bit harder to remove so that it's more sticky, let it stick around a little bit longer to hopefully be able to get buffed by the Arbor up. Speaking of the taunt package is really powered by Razormane Battle Guard. First taunt minion you play costs 2 less, so potentially you're able to play a free, cheap taunt minion. Lets you go just a little bit wider, and again, increase the number of targets on the board for Arbor up. And then also with the Bone Chewer Brawler, has really good synergy with Guardian Aug Merchant. You give it Divine Shield, make it into a 4-2, let you get some of that early chip damage in the game, and then you have a kind of a medium attack minion that also has Divine Shield, again, just being able to do damage to the face. Far Watch Posts included in the deck. They don't really do any damage, but they do tend to slow down your opponent's game plan. Thinking about the mulligan here, there's really only two cards that you want to see in your mulligan. Razormane Battle Guard and Oracle of Elune. These two cards you're going to want to look for every game. The reason why is because we're trying to cheat. And the reason, or the way that we're going to go about cheating, is we want to be able to cheat mana, spend more mana than we're actually supposed to have on that turn. Oracle of Elune, summon a copy of a minion that costs 2 or less, and then Razormane Battle Guard. Each taunt minion, or the first taunt minion you play at the turn, costs 2 less. Being able to cheat mana, I know people say they don't like the cheat. People don't like mana cheating decks, or they think the concept is overused, but if you're playing this deck, that's what you're going to have to do to really be able to take advantage of the deck, to be able to get wins. The only other card that you would possibly want to keep is going to be Peasant, but only if you're on the play. If you're going first on turn 1, keep Peasant. If you're on the coin, don't keep Peasant. It's not good enough, and look strictly for Battle Guard, Oracle of Elune. And just to talk about mulligans here, don't bait yourself with the mulligan in this deck. It is a board-based aggro deck. Ideally, you would want to play, a minion on turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. Ideally, that's the way that board-based decks tend to work. But don't bait yourself. If you have a hand and you have, say, a Guardian Aug Merchant and you have a Bone Chewer Brawler, maybe you have a Watch Post into Park Panther, the thought process is sometimes you look at it and you say, okay, this is good enough. This is going to get me on the board. I'm going to have minions on the board. I'm going to have targets for my Arbor up in a couple of turns. Everything's going to go good. It's actually just not good. It's not strong enough. We really need to be able to take advantage of the quote-unquote unfair cards that are in the deck, being Razormane Battle Guard and Oracle of Elune. So, and just one general tip, probably the best general tip, or one of the best general tips that I could ever give about Hearthstone. If you're looking at a deck, or if you're picking up a new deck and you're thinking to yourself, how do I play this deck? How do I go about winning games with it? Look at the deck and try to determine what the deck does that just isn't fair. What does this deck do that's not fair, that other decks don't do? What's something that if I was playing against this deck, if my opponent does, it kind of makes me groan and say, oh no, I can't believe that they had that. And, once you can see that in the deck, then try to figure out how to execute that kind of unfair things that that deck is trying to do. And if you look at the deck and you don't really see that the deck is capable of doing something that's unfair in your mind, it is possible that you're just missing it, but it's probably more likely that it's actually just not a very good deck. I'm always sad when I see people being baited by like lists on Twitter, bad lists, and especially when you get into people crafting like epics and crafting legendaries because they saw a list on Twitter from a name that they recognize and probably trust, only to realize that it's a meme deck. They're not going to be winning, and they've wasted their resources. I'm fully aware that not everybody has unlimited resources. You don't have unlimited cash for packs. You don't have unlimited dust to be able to craft things. So just be careful out on the ladder. That's kind of a mini rant. I don't necessarily want to call it a sore spot. I know people are out there just trying to have fun. People are trying to make, Twitter content, Reddit content, and things like that. Nothing against those people, nothing against that. I think just sometimes, unfortunately, certain people kind of get victimized by it a little bit, and it just doesn't really sit well with me. So, getting back to the deck, we want to play minions, we want to hit the board, we want to be able to arbor up. Again, Razormane Battle Guard, Oracle of Elune, the only thing you want in the mulligan, other than Peasant if you're on the play. That is going first on turn 1. We're going to take a look at some gameplay now. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you smash that like button. Also, don't be afraid to subscribe. If you like what you see here, you like what's going on, you're going to enjoy the other content on my channel. That subscribe helps out more than you know, and you're going to be able to see some other stuff that you're really going to be interested in. Variety of decks, overviews, mulligans, how to play the deck, how to win with the deck.
Malfurion versus Anhilda.
Versus Warrior. And you got to respect this guy because he's playing the absolute best Warrior portrait. I love this Anhilda portrait. Alright, so we got Battle Guard in hand. Hopefully we can hit an Oracle of Elune. Looks like it's going to be Quest Warrior. He kept the far left. Yeah, this is going to be really, really strong start for us in this matchup. This is an insanely strong start for us. So we're going to coin out the Battle Guard. I'm going to get the Pack Mule out just because it has one more attack than the Annoyatron. Next turn we'll be able to Annoyatron, and how unfortunate is that? How unfortunate is that? I have never seen a Quest deck play Minefield. He's got to be playing that weird like control version of the deck, I guess.
What is it?
But it's fine. A little bit unexpected. Could still just be like a regular Pirate Warrior deck. Maybe he just teched in a Minefield. Could actually be really good in the deck now that I think about it. Haven't seen it before. Gotta respect people that are experimenting and trying new things. I like to see it. Keeps the game fresh. Also causes you to have to think a little bit more. There's a Shield Slam. It's got to be the control version of the deck.
Reflect in the
That's an
moonlight.
upgrade? Probably. That's an upgrade? Probably.
At some point he's going to need Brawl here, if he plays it. I don't recognize this deck at all, so I have no idea what to expect. Probably Ranker is going to be played in the deck. He has the potential to gain a lot of armor. Bulwark of Azeroth has the potential to almost function as a way of gaining armor. Interesting. We just want to go wide here.
Step up!
We're going to see if he has it.
Step up!
Is there any benefit to killing the 2-1?
Operation!
I don't think so. Let's just strip his armor off here. I'm going to force him to have Brawl.
Wretched story. Lose! Ultimate potion!
Okay.
Load it up!
Yeah, this is all fine. So I think at this point we're just going to go ahead and play our Arbor up. And what kind of trades do we want to make here? I think we want to maintain the Divine Shields. It's at 32. What if we just hit him for 18? I think we want to trade a little bit here because he's still going to have a lot of removal in his deck if he is Control, which is what it seems if he's playing Kargath, Shield Slam.
Crystal clear.
So we're going to maintain our Divine Shield minions, and we're going to trade these guys.
Time waits for no one.
And we don't really care if he gains an extra 3 armor here.
Wretched story. Loot!
So if he only plays one weapon, then he just drew his Bulwark of Azeroth, which
In a
could be
box?
coming down next turn.
Pirate stuff.
Load it up!
So we don't want him gaining any more armor because we're expecting that
Crystal clear.
Bulwark of Azeroth to come down. And we'd like to be able to manipulate the board in such a way that we can remove all of the charges and also deal lethal damage.
A diet high in
Alright, that's not Bulwark of Azeroth. Cannon shots go our way.
Grab your cutlass. Let's buckle swash.
I like it.
Lord Valor prevail.
Yeah, so you can really start to see kind of the beauty of the deck here. You just beat the weird stuff when you have a good aggro deck, which is exactly what we have. Aggro Taunt Druid, best aggro deck in the meta. You're going to be able to beat the weird decks. You're going to beat the people who are experimenting, people who are playing strange stuff, decks that you're not familiar with. You're just going to be able to get those wins. Super, super strong. Definitely encourage you to try it out. I think this is a great deck to pursue a personal best rank this season. Go for it, man. Good luck out on the ladder. I'll see you guys next time.